Okay, so we put the level on. Bubbles on this side of the line, so obviously this side is low. So we're trying to pick this side up. Well, there's water in it. It's semi-attached up there. It's got the two supports on there, so it's not going to be picked up. So the other option is we could try and dig dirt out from underneath it, but then I'm running into an issue where shovels, pipes, they don't like each other at times. I don't want to break anything. So what we're going to do is take dirt off of here, just support it as much as possible, and then we can come back and bury it. We'll do what we can on some of these other ones to see what we can do to help level it. But in this instance here, it's too close. We just can't do much about it.
Come on, Mari, push!
I can get it. There's dirt in that.
Just make sure you're not jumping the wrong side.
Oh, Mari, right in your face, girl.
Catch it on camera? Yep, she did.
Alright, so the girls and Nathan are done packing the blind. So Mari and Bree are up there trying to push it all in. They're entertaining. However, we do have a tractor to actually just push it over the edge. They just really wanted to push it themselves.
Oh, yeah, good job. Good.
Okay, these are the outlets for overflow. So as the tank fills up, 45, almost to 5,000, it starts spilling out. What I want to do though is I have the tanks bridged at the bottom, each with their own separate shutoff valve. And because I can't just fill up the water whenever I need it, I have to wait for rain. I want to make sure that I'm not actually draining any water out in case I get a leak down the line. For example, if I have 5,000 gallons in each tank and I have them both bridged down here when it rains and they're both open, if I get a leak, both tanks drain. So I want to be able to shut one tank off to be able to reserve the amount of water I have there and not have it drain all out in case of an emergency or if something goes wrong. That means though, then if I only have the bottom manifold, I can't fill them both at one time with only one inlet. So at the top, I'm going to make these a secondary bridge. So as one tank fills up, let's say the other one's closed, and it hits here, I want it to bridge across to fill up the other tank before it starts doing the outlet. So I'm going to put in two connectors. I'm going to put a PVC line between them, 1.5 inches, and then I'm going to make an actual outlet or overflow off of that. I'm going to bridge it off and do like a little P-trap and then come down. The height of the P-trap will then change how much I can actually fill. This right here is probably only at 4,700 gallons, but the tank will hold 5. So if I can raise the P-trap, I will then be able to fill the tank up to the 5,000 before it starts to overflow because it's sharing this with the other guy, or at least because this is not the direct outlet. I'm going to raise it up. I hope that makes sense. So just watch what I'm doing and maybe afterwards I'll kind of just review it real quick for you. This is like a freaking paste. I don't know why they say shake it.
Maybe yours is defective and it should be more liquidy. Because it does seem odd to shake that.
Well, I can shake, but it ain't gonna shake.
Right? That tight?
Well, it started twisting the actual bulkhead fittings.
All right, so Nathan came over and he's like, hey, check out this thing I found. So it's one of those like squarish rectangle box things that you can get down to the water valves and whatnot. I was like, hey, I was wanting one of those over at the end of our tubes for the rainwater collection under the gutters. So that way at the end we'd have a way to get down to that clean out. So Nathan brought it over, so I want to show you what we're doing. All right, and by we, I mean other people. So there it is. Will it fit? I mean, I know it's pretty tight against that wall there.
We need the wall to take some off.
Yeah, go ahead and take the stuff off the wall, Bree.
You want it?
Okay, so we brought the little cover thing over here, and the thicker part right there would be the part that would rotate against the wall and the clean out. And that little lip of the bottom of the foundation is coming out. It's not gonna work, but it's a really cool idea. We may be able to use it somewhere else on some other pipe or shut off to have access. Hey, it's free. Let's reuse. I mean, totally awesome. So the next spot for trying this nice cement access thing is over this extra shut off we put. So Nathan's kind of packing and seeing if we can get to go over our big water size huge tube that is. I'll say 4-inch. So we got packed stuff down nice and good. This is obviously cement. We don't want to collapsing and hurting the pipe either, like settling and squishing.
Looks like that's too tall.
Too tall?
Bree, you're too tall.
No, tall.
Hey, you just gonna hold it?
That's what I heard.
No. I'm so tall.
I knew it. Someday Bree would cry.
Yeah.
Even if she built her own mound.
Mm-hmm. You did it?
Yep.
Yay! We did it!
Y'all hold mark. 126, probably a 5/8.
Gotta measure for the long connector.
Now come to this side, Owen. Hurry. Okay. No, other way. Rotate the other way. Okay.
Need more on this side. Yeah.
Careful.
Goodness. Yep.
I'll have that on the high side.
Yeah, that would be good. Alright, so each side's getting its own pee?
Yep.
Oh, gotcha.
So that way each side will have its own drain. Otherwise, I'm afraid it's going to have too much water
Pressure.
to drain.
Alright, gotcha.
Technically, I don't care if these leak.
Alright, once you go up, it doesn't matter.
Right. So I'm not going to...
Not gonna glue the top?
Elbow.
There we go.
Alright, you made a pee. Good job. Welcome to recess, where the children play on the hay bales. Maybe they're Ninja Warrior training, I can't tell. me.
All right, so we're gonna come over here. This is that P-trap. So that way it doesn't create a siphon effect, potentially. I'm just gonna drill a few holes in the top here. So that way it breaks the suction or the siphon effect, just in case. Like 3 holes. 3 looks pretty.
3 looks pretty.
Not as pretty. We glued the bottom portion because in theory, when the water comes out that 1.5, it's going to continue to fill up down that mid pipe, and it's going to keep filling up inside the tank in here. So we've glued these. By the time we get up to this point, it's at its max. So we did not glue these because I don't care if it starts spilling out. And then it's going to run over and it's going to drop down a big long pipe right here. So should work. $145.5.
All the way up to the P. Well, that looks good.
Nice thing is well, there.
A wee bit short.
Like that?
Sure.
There's one down.
So what happens when it gets down here and sits on that wood and starts flowing?
We put another one coming out.
Okay, so we're not done with piping that guy.
Right.
All right, good deal. I didn't think we
We'll
wanted to
pull
stop
them out, and then when we bury it all, it'll be partly buried.
there. Okay.
Okay, last P-trap.
The second P.
$146.5.
All right. How do we do?
Okay, I'm not in all the way.
Okay.
Just didn't want to push it. Put about an inch. That good?
Yep.
Yeah, just. There we go.
Wow, that one looks really nice. Just, takes a couple tries.
Suck wax! So we're gonna put some type of brace. We're not gonna get enough rain for a while to fill up 10,000 gallons, so I'm not too sweating it. But it's gonna bridge and it'll continue to fill until it gets to the top. Hopefully that's evident. And then it just spills. We'll extend these other drains on the outlets just to kind of push it out further. But so it doesn't drip water. But yeah, I think it looks great. Looks good.
You're a winner.
I'm a wiener. That's my German for you.
All right, time to put the dirt back. Jeff's got the tractor and we're gonna get it covered back up and fill in those pipes. The children are finishing compacting with their, I would say little feet, but I don't know if they have little feet.
Oh, it does not.
With their big little feet. And I say it turned out really well. Look at that nice long line of not a hole anymore. We will take it.
But hey, it looks good. Tractor did good. I only hit the pavilion once.
Yes, very much so. Almost once. One very big time you hit it.
Well, I was backing up and it caught the edge on the end of the bucket, so nothing pivotal, nothing huge, but
Nobody died.
more than I want to know about.
All right, so we're over at the lake. We're gonna try and suck up the water again into our awesome IBC totes and get that all also loaded into our big black tank. So hopefully it'll be a really good day. We forgot to bring our cup over to prime the pump, so we're trying to use the hose to pour the water in. So that's what they're doing right now. Hopefully that works. And then we forgot to bring extra gasoline. We did fill up towards the end of last week when we were using it, so hopefully that works. I guess those are the two tricky parts right now. There's always something that could go wrong, so let's find out what it is. We haven't turned it on, so let's turn it on and it starts right up again.
Don't bend it too much. Never.
Okay, so we're over here ready to get ready to fill up our big tank. And sometimes you get a good deal, maybe it's too good to be true. So use IBC tote problems. One, this one's got some junk still in it. I'm not sure what that is. It looks kind of green foamy. Number two, we got a leak. So this guy's not gonna be good to like store water in. I mean, it still has a lot of water in there, but definitely not the best thing ever. Oh.
So it was like a bunch of rock, kind of like a concrete look. You know, gray powder stuff. So I don't think we're gonna fill this one or drain this one with it. I think we're just gonna open the valve and let it all go. So I think we'll worry about these front two and then just let this one drain on its own.
All right, let's get this done.
They all had something in it.
Yeah, and the guy said they weren't cleaned out, so I just should have been smarter and do something more about it, but I didn't.
So, all right, we'll see. I'm just not gonna go all the way to the bottom because
Nope.
that's where all the solid rock stuff is. You done? So that was like 5 million times simpler than using those blue jugs.
Yeah, it was.
So the hose, these other two didn't, we only probably drained them until about there.
A little farther down, but yeah.
Just because the hose has this curve that's naturally in it. And so when I put it in there, it keeps wanting to curve. So if I put too much more, it starts poking back up. So there's only about that high that I could get before it starts to climb again. So anyway, it was probably good, just so that way we could let them drain and kind of flush themselves out a little bit. So we probably only got, since we don't have this, maybe 250 from each of the others, if that, maybe 400 or 500 gallons, but it's better than the stuff we got before.
All right, Nathan's got a measurement for us.
It was about here before.
All right, so this morning, we were what, like 700 gallons?
Yeah, right about here.
Yeah.
We're about 1250. Okay.
Yeah, I'd say right about 1250 is what it looks like to me. So
Only.
7 to 12, yeah, that's about 550 on our gallons that we just added. So we're getting closer.
So that's looking real good. We still got some things to do, drain some of these things, clean them out, but hey, I think that worked good. These downspouts, you'll notice that this one's actually moving. It was a little short.
Longer on the wood.
This one's a little bit movable because it's no longer on that piece of wood. I think we'll come back with some of that metal strapping and actually screw these things down. So that way they don't move when the water comes. But, I mean, we've got now, I think legit, 10,000 gallons of water capacity. So when you're measuring rainfall and how many gallons you can get, we have a 6,000 square foot pavilion, which means we're only actually pulling from one side of it half. So we have 3,000 square feet. For 1 inch of rain, every 1,000 square feet will give you 600 and I think 20 gallons. So I just call it 600. So 1 inch of rain will give us 1,800 gallons since we have 3,000 square feet of space. So for us to get to 10,000, you know, we're gonna have to be hitting five inches of rain, and I don't see that happening next week. I don't see it happening in 2 weeks, but we have plenty of space, and I think that's good. So we have the valve capped here. We have it capped over here. What I would like to do is to open up this guy and see if we can hear it transfer over. I think that'd be pretty. So let's see how that works. We may not hear a single thing, actually. Oh,
I heard it.
okay, it's part of the reason I wanted to transfer it. I want to see if the glue joints were holding. And we have a leak. It's not good. So, looks like we're leaking right here. And that's partly because I didn't glue it. I forgot, I had them on there just to do it, but I forgot to glue this guy. So, we're gonna come up with some solution to that, and we might have to, I don't know, we'll come up with something the next week, but I've now closed them. This will start filling up itself. Looks to be right about there. And anyway, check your work always. But hey, we've got these things up, just a few minor little details, securing these downspouts for the overflows. These guys are working, we're getting water, and we know we can get a lot of water out of these guys and fill it in an emergency. So we have rain hopefully this week. It changes every hour, but we'll start filling up. So anyway, catch you later. Make sure you like and subscribe, and the progress as always continues. See ya.